Hey, so in today's video, I'd like to return to the death series once again to talk about some new insights on a new death experience. And that's like, it's quick, right? Because I think the last upload, if I'm not mistaken, was also a death upload. But this quite literally was two deaths 10 days exactly apart. The last one was my dog, or was my grandparents' dog, and this one is my dog. 10 days apart. The difference being, though, this time is that, or because when my grandparents' dog was going, you could see it. It was planned. It was there. But this one was completely unexpected. We put down my grandparents' dog, but my dog just died. So it's a different experience, and it's like I said, my grandparents' dog was the hardest death I went through, but now it's like it's been toppled times two. It's a really weird feeling. It's up there with the experiences that I could only call true shock. There is no other way of describing them. You can't even just put it fully with like sadness. You can't even call sadness a full thing. You can't do any of that. It's shock. This is one of those things you can't even really describe. It's one of those feelings because you can say I'm happy or I'm sad or I'm mad or I'm this. This is one of those things that even still a month later I cannot figure out. But I don't know if you're meant to. I think maybe shock is like a whole other feeling. This is my first go with shock, right? So maybe it's like a whole other feeling. Maybe that's how you classify it. I don't know yet, but I've learned a few things from this death. Things that I believe are valuable. Things that I believe are a better way to look at it. And I like to share it with you here. And also, just before we get too started, I'd like to apologize for disappearing for a month. Because I've been dealing with that, and we also got two new puppies. Which, funny enough, because everyone else is working, and I'm left in the house, I kind of became their owner by mistake. Because they're family dogs, right? But since I was taking care of them the most, now they only really listen to me. The few times they do listen. They're 8-month-old puppies, so they don't really listen. But when they do listen, it's with me. So now they're my puppies. They got their cage right here. They're in my room. And now I'm an official dog father. So that's been my month recently. I've had to give that quite the attention. But either way, we're back at it. I think maybe uploads might be more sparse. But I don't know yet. I'll have to see. Because keeping these puppies calm is difficult. Like I'm pretty sure they're going to freak out at some point. Not freak out, but they're gonna want to get rowdy, go outside, go play. At some point, my soul got sucked out of my body there when I said that because that's their key. That's their trigger word. Either way, let's get back to the video. That's why I've been gone, but that's it. Let's get back to the video. Either way, let's start with the story. Story is a crucial bit to this. Story is always crucial, so let's get to it. About a month ago, a couple days over a month, it was just a normal morning. But I did a little bit of a different thing this morning because I had to go to a Google Meet because I get new classes every 2 months. So this is my new classes. This is the new wave. So we went to a Google Meet, which I don't usually do. Only when it's the new classes and we're doing the introductory thing. So I went to this Google Meet and that was my plan for the day. Just wake up early, go to a Google Meet, finish it, do whatever. And so far, it was so good. I went upstairs, I said good morning to my puppies, I grabbed the computer, the laptop, and I just went back downstairs. And I thought, I'll be out in like an hour and a half. And then when I'm out, the whole day, the whole world, right here. Might as well get at it. But as that morning went on, everyone started to get up, everyone started to do their things. And my dogs were just upstairs together, laying in the living room. And after a little while, my brother was about to go outside for some stuff. And he noticed that my dog was breathing weird and was unresponsive. My one dog. So we got my mother, and they checked on her, and, well, she wasn't okay, to say the least. She wasn't okay. And I just heard her. I remember I heard her screaming, "Oh no!" and her name and asking to go get help. So I ran up there, and it was like a surreal feeling because I heard her say like, "I think she's dying," and it was at that moment that it just felt like, "Fuck, I'm not actually here. I'm not actually here. This isn't actually happening." Like it sucked me out of my body. Like even talking about it, funny enough, even reminiscing, because I haven't done it over the past few days really, but just reminiscing kind of takes my body and like puts my head back here. Like I feel myself over here. Like I'm just outside of myself. It's not happening. It's not real. It's not right. It feels fake. Is what I'm trying to say. So I ran over to go get, because our phones, ironically, our phones were cut off. So I tried calling the vet first, and my phone was cut off. So I ran over to my grandparents, which are our neighbors, and I asked for their phone. I brought it back. Was on the phone with the vet, but by the time I already got back, my father was carrying her out, and she was just dead. So, and furthermore, the nearest vet hospital is like 30 minutes away, at best. So when it comes to that, if someone's dead for that amount of time, there is a chance they can be brought back. I'm going to tell you, though, like the chance is slim to none. But there is still a chance. But the main problem is that if they're brought back, their organs are very, very damaged. They're in horrible shape. So in cases like that, even if they bring that person back, they might die again. And even in another case, the best case is going to be like heavy brain damage. And then what? They're just disabled, or something's wrong with them for the rest of their life. And so it isn't any different with dogs. So by the time she was already dead, it was just too late. Like you can't do anything. Like that's in best conditions. On normal days, it's like 45 minutes. So in that kind of case, it's not really possible to save them. Not really. There was like a closer one, 15 minutes even, but that had more traffic. So but that wouldn't have really made a difference. That's still 15 minutes. Like that really, like it would have made some difference, but it really didn't have a great chance of making a difference. By that time, they're already arrested for a long time. They're cold. The organs are shutting down and dying. The body is starting to decay, essentially. So by that point, it's done. So I ran out there and, I saw him carrying her, and it was just like he put her in the car, and it was just like in that moment where we kind of just realized she was dead. And there really wasn't much you can do about that. Like it was in that second that we just, like she was just lifeless. You could see like there was nothing left. You could just tell there's nothing left to do. It's done. You can't do anything. And it was in that moment that it just felt once again even more like my head was right over there. Like I was viewing it from a whole different place. And like it wasn't real at all. Like there was nothing, like I was just gonna pause and rewind a little bit and do something different. It really felt like that. I didn't even cry. Because I was just fucking shook. Like you just don't know what to do. You're taken out. I just stood there and I was literally, like my mind was literally blown. It was literally unbelievable. We often say that, when we're like, as a metaphor. It's like, I can't believe this, or this is unbelievable. I still use it. It doesn't matter. But point is, we use it as a metaphor, but I don't know how many of us actually know that having your mind blown is like an actual thing. You can actually be shocked. You can actually be in a state where you don't believe this is real. You can be put in a place where you cannot fathom that this just happened. I had no idea that was true. when people talk about shock, and like you see how they like they freeze up. They're kind of unresponsive, or they just do nothing, or they do stupid stuff. I looked at that and I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, especially in movies when they just fucking freeze up. It's like, there's no way. But I think there is. Because that's kind of what happened to me. I just froze there. I kind of just sat there like, fuck. Like, you just sit there, like, literally holding your head. Like, how is this possible? Like you can't understand it. At all. Like, it's not made for you to understand. It's a real thing, and it's a thing that, like, that you can't really put into words. You can't really put it into words. But what I'm trying to say is that having your mind blown is actually real. It actually is. So, when you say that stuff, it actually is possible. And in those moments, that's what was happening. It did not feel real. There were moments, as I was getting my stuff on to go take her, because we decided, what are we going to do with her body? We kind of just have to take her to the vet. Like what are we going to do? Because once you have a body, it's like, what do you do? And I know a lot of people would say, bury it in your backyard or just something like that. But as far as I'm concerned, that's illegal here because of pipes and all that. So or at least in that size. I mean, maybe you could bury a Chihuahua, but my dog was like a Rottweiler and a Husky mixed. So she's a big dog. She was a big dog, and if we buried her, we could have hit something. I don't know if we would have, but either way, it was illegal. So we just had to bring her to the vet. So as I was getting my stuff on for that, it would kind of come in waves, where I'd like snap out of it and I'd realize this is sad. This is happening. This is sad. But then I'd go back and I'm like, wait, no. This isn't real. This isn't happening. And then I'd keep fluctuating. So we got on the drive, and my mother had to wake my youngest brother up with that. He was the closest with her, actually. He loved that dog. So that was one of the worst things for me to see, was my brother in that state. Because it's... I don't like to be that guy who tries to say, it's done. Or this is over. Or like, they're dead. This is it. There's no more chance. I don't like that. I don't like doing that. I like to be as stupidly positive as I can. I think that if there's a slight chance, I'm going to take it. And that's going to be the way it works. And I'm going to think about it like that. And I'm going to make sure everyone else knows it. I'm going to make sure they think about it too. But I couldn't do it here. She was dead, and she couldn't come back. If she was dying, I would have been able to do it, but she was dead. It was over. Tongue flopped out, unresponsive, dead. So, seeing my brother like that, and not even being able to give him the slightest pinch of hope, was honestly the worst feeling that I have ever come across. Seeing him break down like that. He woke up to it. Seeing him break down like that, wake up to it. And I can't even tell him that it's going to be okay. Or like, I can tell him everything's going to be okay, but I can't tell him that she's going to be okay. She's dead. And I can't tell him anything else. She's dead. And telling him that it's going to be okay felt almost like a lie. I just hugged him and told him it's going to be okay. But it felt like a lie. It just... because she was gone. And like, I could see this is not okay. I knew everything was going to be okay afterwards because, we can't let our lives be consumed by these kinds of things. And we can most certainly... and we can't let ourselves die like that. We can't let our lives end on that note. And that's it. We have to move on. We have to go forward. So everything is going to be okay. Everything is okay. But it was in that moment, she's dead. You can't say anything else. She's dead. This is the fact. You can't change it. And even if you tried to change it, and even if you maybe did, she'd be dead again. Or she'd be permanently disabled. And she was old. And not like too old, but she was old enough that it would have been cruel. And like it's a dog, right? So if you opt to have your dog brought back and disabled like that, I'd say it's almost cruel. Because you're denying them their death and then bringing them back in a worse state just so you can have them. I'd say that's cruel. So she was dead. That was it. And in the end, it was just, that feeling was fucking horrible. Because you can't even give anyone hope. I hate to deprive people of hope. I want to be that guy who's gonna be stupid looking. Because there's like 1,000,000 to 1. I'm gonna look like an idiot, like a total idiot. But I'm still gonna take that chance. Because most people would just back down and accept it. But I don't want to do that. But in this case, you have to accept it because there's no other way. There's nothing. She's dead. Horrible feeling. Either way, we got our stuff on, and I let him sit in the front. I sat back with her on the drive just so I could spare him the sight. And he looked, and it was horrible to see him look at that because it was like, it's traumatic for even me just seeing her. But for him, he's 11. He never should have seen any of that. So it was something else, to say the least. Something else. But either way, we went on that drive. Took about 40 minutes, as it should. And it just never really set in. Not even when her dead body was beside me. Not even when I touched her dead body did it set in that she was actually dead. I actually could not believe that. I actually could not fathom it. I could see it. I could touch her. I could do anything to prove it, but nothing would work. I could not believe it at all. Nothing could convince me. I don't know why. Still to this day, I almost am completely unconvinced. Like I still have so much trouble understanding that I will never see her again. It's a weird thing. It's been a month and it's been a month and 3 days, or month and 4 days. That's it. And just the idea that I'll never see her again still doesn't resonate with me. I still don't understand it. I still could not fathom. I still can't get it at all. Not even when I had her dead body right there. Not even when I have her ashes now. I got her paw print. I have her collar. I have her ashes. Nothing can change the fact that I can't accept it. At all. I think that's what shock truly is. And I don't know how long it takes to heal. At the moment of writing the blog I have here, it's like I thought that this would go away by the time that I recorded, or at least it would be somewhat different. But not exactly. Not exactly, no. It's still pretty damn prominent. It's still there. And I think that's just the way it's meant to be. I think that's just how shock works. I think it just comes like this, and it stays like this, and the only thing that can change it is really just time. Because no matter how many times I think about it, about how she's dead and how I'm never going to see her again, I can't actually get there with it at all. It's just still shocking and still unbelievable. I still get actually no. I'll say I still, I'm getting to the point where it's starting to make more sense to me, but it doesn't make full sense. I'm still in denial. I still feel like I take comfort in the idea that I'll be able to just see her and pet her and play with her. But then it gets shot back down because I remember she's dead. It's really weird, but that's how it works, I believe. It's my only really shocking experience, right? So I couldn't tell you for sure, but I'm pretty sure this is the way it works. Pretty sure. Either way, took her to the vet. About a 30-40 minute drive. My mother, my brother, and me. I ran in there, and they got the stretcher and all that. Put her on, and it's just that sight of seeing her lifeless body that just sticks with me. Honestly, if you don't mind me saying, it's like it's mostly like this is gonna get a little specific, but the part that mainly sticks with me is just seeing her face dead. Because that dog always had a smile. She always had a smile on her face. But now she's just dead. Like, I don't know how that works. It doesn't make sense. I see her mouth is open and her tongue is out. She was drooling. She's gone. I almost want to talk to her, but she's just gone. There's nothing that'll change that. Her smile's gone. She's gone. It's done. It was just seeing that her body that just really set it in that this was just a fucking bundle of shock. Like it was like a pinnacle. It really set in that this is like the pinnacle of what I've gone through with shock, with anything. Because maybe I've been shocked before, but I've never been shocked this much. I'll tell you that. Never. So, I really set in that it was just the pinnacle. It really sticks with me, if I'm being honest. There's nothing that can really just properly describe it, because just her body dead and moving in unnatural ways, like lifeless ways. Just so weird. I've seen a dead body before. I went to a what do they call it? A witnessing. It's not like a funeral, but it's kind of like a funeral. And it was like that. It's just you see this person that you love, but they're not there. You see your pet that you love, but they're not there. It's hard to understand. It really is. And I thought, like when I was writing this, I said I was thinking about these memories quite often, and that it got better, but I'm still taken back by them. I thought that when I wrote that, it's just like the initial couple weeks. I'm gonna get better in a bit, but no, like I think about them less. But when I think about them, it doesn't really change. It's weird. But that's once again just shock. That's shock. Either way. On the bright side of it, though, they did a little bit of we didn't opt in for a test because she was dead. We didn't want an autopsy. She was dead. That was it. We didn't need to know. But what they said was that she died from what looked to be a seizure and a heart attack, same time kind of deal, and that it was from cancer. Now the thing about this is that she had cancer previously. She had mammary cancer. And we got this removed about 3 months ago, 2 months from when she was dead, 2 months previous. So when that happened, we were thinking, this is fine. She's fine. This is it. But no, cancer came back, and it was like a vigorous one. We didn't have long to react. She was gagging a little bit, coughing and all that, but she was shedding. Because the season changed. And she's done this before in the years that we've had her, right? So we were figuring, I'm just going to de-shed her. It's fine. And it worked, The more I de-shedded her, the calmer down, the more she calmed down with her cough and her gag and all that. So it wasn't really that big of an issue. But then when we got there, they said it was probably was what was causing her to gag and cough. But either way it went, she would have had to been put down because it was a type of cancer that, she was dead. She was dead. She was dying. She was dead. So, and there was like no surgery. So she was gone. And I'm kind of glad that we were able, that she died this way. Because if there was anything about the previous experience that got me, it was the buildup. That's what really That's what I hated the most, is the build up to seeing your dog in the final days, in the final moments. You know these are the final moments. It really just makes everything sad. It really just makes everything sad. But when they're gone like this, you never really had a sad moment with them. Because all those days, you were only really, you never really had to focus on death. You never had to think about it looming above. Because that was such a far off idea, right? We don't think about it. So I'm kind of grateful that she died this way. Because if we took her in for the gag and we had to put her down, I feel like that would have been more sad. It would have been harder to get through. But because of the shock of this one, it's more of a, she died in her home, she died happy. We had happy memories with her. There was really no sadness there. There was no sad memory shared. And she didn't suffer either. They said that she seemed to have died quick, and this wouldn't have really hurt her that much. So for all that it was, she died in the best way she could have. In her home, with her family there, in a quick way that was painless, that we didn't have to watch her build up to. Unlike with my grandparents' dog, we watched him build up to it, and we knew, he's going to die this day. We're putting him down. So now we have that overlooming death idea, and now it really makes our memories sadder, it clouds us, and it makes us just sad. So I'm grateful she died in that manner, because we're all gonna die, so we might as well die the happiest way we can, and we might as well make sure that everyone around us, well, not make sure, but we might as well be grateful that when people die in happy ways, that we are able to still be happy, that we can look back at that in a happy way. So I'm glad she died that way. Not glad she died, but I'm glad she died that way, to say the least. Either way, they said that there wasn't anything to be done, so there's not really much regret to be had there. But the only thing that really gets me is that morning was the morning I joined a Google Meet, which is something I never do. And if I didn't join the meet, I could have spent time with her. That's what I was thinking. That's what I thought. But I don't think we can think about it that way. I don't think we can. Because I thought about it for a few days, and I thought, I can't regret this because I couldn't have seen it coming at all. Once again, this was unexpected. The day previous, she was running, she was playing, she was barking fine, she was doing all her normal things. She had a smile. She looked like she was in absolutely no pain. And the funny thing is, she actually did that with the previous cancer too. She looked like she was never in pain unless you saw the wound. But if you didn't see the wound, I mean, like, it was protruding pretty prominently, so you could see the wound pretty easily. But if somehow you didn't see it, you could not tell this dog was hurt. You could not tell this dog was hurting. She was fine. The only thing that actually really got her, though, was stairs. Her hips hurt because of the mammary cancer. So for that matter, you could see her hurting, and you could see her being a little sore when she was doing stairs or like an intense thing with her legs. But other than that, she would never let you see her suffer. She would never give you a second to see it. And so for that, we saw none of this coming. It was completely unexpected. The day previous, she was fine. She was happy. She was playing. She was doing everything normally. She was eating. She was doing everything. She was fine. This was unexpected. We could not have seen this. The only thing that was different was that she was breathing a little weird, but we figured, this is probably just something to do with her cough and the weather change. This is allergies or something. And even if we picked up on it, like we had like 2 days before we noticed something was a little off with her breathing. That's kind of the window we had. So by that point, it was like, she seems fine otherwise. So we'll take her to the vet in a couple days if it gets worse. But there was no couple days. It was tomorrow. So we couldn't have really done anything there. But it was those kinds of regrets that made me think, we can't blame ourselves for doing what was best in the moment. Because think about it in the moment, right? I need to join this Google Meet. I don't think anyone's going to die. Because the logical thing to assume is everybody's okay. Nobody's showing any signs of death. The dog isn't showing any signs of death or dying. So everything's fine. I'm going to do this Google Meet. We're going to have a great day. I could not have seen that coming. If the dog was clearly in trouble, if the dog was clearly in pain, that's a different thing. But the dog was not clearly in pain. So the best decision I could have made that morning would have been to attend my Google Meet. It would have been to attend the Google Meet to get my thing done and go through the rest of my day. That's the best decision I could have made in the moment. And I can't blame myself for that. And the same with the days previous. You know, she was fine. She was fine otherwise. She had a little breathing thing. She had a little cough. We figured we'll take her in if it gets worse. Because so far, this is probably just the seasonal change, because this is what happens when she's shedding and she licks herself and she gets hairballs and then she's coughing all the time. This has happened twice before. So we figured, you know what? If this has happened before, this is probably not out of the bin. And we can't blame ourselves for that. We really can't. How could we have seen this coming? This is an unexpected disaster. We could not have predicted that. And we can't blame ourselves for missing it, because we didn't really miss it. We didn't really miss it at all. So we can't blame ourselves for that. We really can't. And that's what I think is the most valuable lesson here, actually, is that you can't blame yourself for what you didn't do, or maybe what you did do, as long as that was the best thing in the moment. Because if my dog was suffering and I still chose, I'm going to ignore that, there's something to look back at with a little bit of a sour view. But my dog wasn't clearly suffering. The best decision to make that morning was to attend my Google Meet, to be a student, so that I could go through the rest of my day properly. That was the best decision I could have made, and I'm not wrong for that. I'm not wrong for that. So if you make the best decision in the moment, and it turns out that maybe you wished you did something different afterwards, just cut it out. Because think about it. Did you make the best decision in that moment? And if you did, then what is there to be regretful about? There's nothing. You made the best decision in the moment. Because we have to remember to live our lives moment by moment. Because if we constantly think, my dog's going to die, then I'm constantly going to give the dog attention. And then I'm going to neglect the other aspects of my life. It's an impossible lifestyle. We need to live in the moment. We need to live in the moment, but we also need to live in the future. You need to acknowledge the dog's going to die one day. So you need to look out for the signs of death. That's why I gave it a couple days. And I said, let's give it a couple days. If she gets worse, we'll take her. That's living in the future. That's preparing for the future. Living in the moment, even. Because, we can't take her to the vet right now. And this is not out of her usual stuff when the season changes. So let's just give it a little. This is living in the moment and preparing for the future. If I prepared for the future, I would have took her to the vet, we would have put her down, and that would have been a whole nother thing. She still would have died, but she would have died in an unknown place, to her an unknown place, and everyone would have been sad. It all would have been weird. She would have felt different about it. And I think that's how they feel about it, right? Because when they go to the vet, they usually don't like it. So why would they like to die at the vet? If anything, they love to die at their house with their family. So I think it's better that she did this. But regardless, if I neglected everything, I wouldn't have attended the Google Meet, and maybe I would have caught her death. But how could I have ever possibly predicted that? I could not have. I could not have even guessed. It's just unfathomable. It's impossible. I can't even still put it into words. The swift, just the speed, the swift movement of how it came on. It's just what I could only call impossible. So how can I predict the impossible? I can't. I really can't. It's unexpected, and I can't blame myself for that. So when it comes to times like this for you as well, don't regret those decisions that you make if they're the best decisions in the moment. You need to remember that, because we cannot guess when everyone's going to die. But if we always constantly live under that guise that they're going to die now, or they're going to maybe die in the next hour, then we're constantly going to neglect a part of our lives, and we're constantly going to be focused on that. And it's going to take away from so much of the life we could live. We really can't live like that. Same with living in the moment. If you neglect the future, you're just going to indulge in what the present has. And then what? You never build anything for your future because you're just some guy who lives in the moment. You don't know where you're going because you've never thought about it. You can't neglect either of these. You have to live in the balance of both. And you cannot regret it when you do that, because that's the right thing to do. So don't regret that, especially with death. Just ask yourself if you could have seen that coming. Ask yourself if that was the best decision to make in the moment. And if you made the best decision, and if you could not have seen it coming, why do you regret it? So I've let go of my regrets. I don't regret anything. If I could have done it different, maybe I would have, but I'm not constantly thinking about that with sour feelings. Because there's no reason to. There really is no reason. So, might as well focus on it the most positive way I can. Because, she was the sweetest puppy. I would give anything for just another moment. Damn near anything for just another moment. So that I could at least get some closing thoughts. Because the thing about it is that it almost feels like the book is left open. It happens so quick that the book is left open. That's one of the things I've noticed. I think that's still just part of shock. But nevertheless, if I could have a moment with her, I'd give a lot to have that moment with her. Just so I could close the book properly. Because, even like, if I could have gone back to the moment, I knew she was going to die. If I, instead of running over to my grandparents, just went over and comforted her, even that would be preferable. But I can't blame myself for that. I really can't. I really can't. So, I'd give it if I could, but I'm not going to think about it because there's no point in creating false fantasies and following and just thinking about them all day. There's no point. Fantasies that'll never come true. There's no point. I'll see her again one day. When I'm dead, I'll see her again then. And that's the way it's meant to be. That's the way it's going to be. And I can't change that. Even if it wasn't meant to be, even if it was all random, I can't change it, so it doesn't matter. I'll see her one day again. I know that for sure. And I can't make all these false fantasies because they will get me nowhere. It's a waste of my time. Complete waste, really. Either way, it's kind of what I've learned here. We can't blame ourselves in these cases, in unexpected death. We can't blame ourselves. Just once again, remember, if you made the best decision in the moment, you're right. You couldn't have seen it coming. You made the best decision in the moment. You can't blame yourself for that. You can't blame yourself ever for that. You can scarcely blame yourself for any death. But when it comes to that kind of death, you can never. So don't regret those memories. Don't regret the things you did, because you made the best decision. Even if you don't like it now, you made it. And that's the best thing that you could have done. So be proud of that. Be proud that you were still a proper person, a proper man, as I'm viewing myself. That I'm proud that I was still a proper man, a proper student in those moments. Instead of being a weird kid obsessed with the future, or a weird kid obsessed with the moment. Because that's not the life I want to live. Neither of them. I'd rather be there doing a bit of both than doing full of either. A theme that we seem to come back and forth on so very often on this channel. Balance is key, huh? At least that's the way I'm viewing it. But either way, just try to view death and other bad events in lights like this, because then you won't regret it, and you'll also get to learn things. You get to learn how to live your life a bit, say, smoother. Was I too much in the moment? Was I too much in the future? You'll be able to analyze, and you'll be able to just see it all more positive. It's things like this. It's things like this, viewing it positive. They give us the necessary strength to move forward into a better future. Only thinking of that, whatever that event may be, with positive feelings, with happiness. That's the way I'd view it. Because if I didn't do all this, I might be thinking about this with a bunch of sadness and no happiness. I would have probably broke down during the video. But because I'm viewing it in the most positive way, in the way that she died in her home with her family, she died in an unexpected, peaceful, and painless way, because I'm trying to view it in those ways that are better than she just died and she was taken from me, I'm able to move on and just live life a little happier. Furthermore, I just suggest that you get something to distract yourself, not to replace. Like I got these puppies here. They're not to replace her, not at all. They're just to fill a void, because there is a void in the family when she was gone. You know, she was gone for a few days before we got them, and there was a clear void. So it's things like that. Like, you don't want to replace that person. You don't want to replace that thing. You don't want to replace your pet. But you gotta fill that void, whether that be with a new pet, with a family member, with a new thing, whatever that thing may be. Just fill the void. Don't replace it, but don't replace them. Just fill the void. Distract yourself. It helps the healing process. It always does, and I think it helps better in shocking moments like this. At least I'd say. Stuff like this helps you work towards a happier future. Something you can look forward to and just almost forget about the death. Because I haven't forgotten about her, but I'm thinking about it less. And that's what I want. I don't want to be haunted by that for the rest of my life. I can't. So I'm glad I'm moving on. Either way, that's mostly what I've learned here. It's kind of 3 lessons, really. It's, for a quick review, we can't blame ourselves in situations like this. We made the best decision, and we didn't do anything wrong. So we can't blame ourselves. Shock is real. Shock is something that is really only healed with time and distractions, with things that you usually wouldn't use in other instances. Stuff that you can't even really describe. Shock is something that is just completely unknown, but it's completely real. That your mind blowing is not physically true, but it's mentally true. We learned that, and then we learned that we should try our bests, our absolute best, to just fill voids. Not replace, but fill voids. Because this will help us view everything more positively. This will help us get through and just do something different. Move on with life. We can't let these things contain us. We can't let them hold us back. Because if you let that happen, you'll just be stuck there forever. Forever. You know, actually, we learned more than that, really. Because I'm coming back to this after the blog was written, and it's been a few weeks, so I've had new thoughts to say. It's diverged off the blog a little. But honestly, we've learned more, really. We learned there's a fine balance between living in the moment and living in the future. And that viewing these things positively is really just the only good thing you can do. You can't do anything else. You can't bring them back. You can't save anything. You just got to view it positively. You know, we really learned 5 things. That's funny. And that's the thing, too. I thought, like, when I was writing the blog, I knew that the blog would help me sort through my thoughts. But now I'm here with the video, and I'm still sorting through my thoughts. So, in a way, I thank you for being here to help me sort through this. Just talking about it, you know, because I'm not, this is a long video. I'm way off, like a script or like a goal. I'm just talking. But that's really helped me. And I wouldn't have been able to really do that today, funny enough, if I didn't have this channel, if I didn't have people here to watch and to do this with. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for watching and being here with me to hear this. and allowing me to speak on it. Because we learned a lot today. We learned to live a fine balance between living in the moment and the future, 50-50. Learn to view everything positively so that we can move on and not let these things contain us. We learn to not blame ourselves for the right thing that we did in the moment. We learn to fill the void, not replace. And we learn that shock is real. That's 5 things. That's a pretty packed thing. You know, I could have divided this into 5 videos of shorter length, but you know what? I like this video more. I actually really like what I said here. I really like this one. So I hope you can take this death that I've experienced. You know, you didn't experience it, but I did. So now you're kind of by proxy getting a little taste of it. So I hope you can take the death experience here, and you can make a better life for yourself too, yourself and your family. Because I don't wish this upon anyone, but I know that everyone who watches this will go through it. Or maybe they'll die first. Maybe you'll die first. But I know that no matter what, we're all going to run into death, whether that be we die or someone else dies. So I don't wish this shock, I don't wish this sadness, I don't wish any of this upon you, but it will happen. You can't even prepare for it. I'm going to tell you, you can't prepare for that day. But you can take the lessons here, and you can understand when that day comes, you can resonate and understand the situation a lot better. At least that's the way I hope it would go. You let me know. You let me know. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helps you so very much. It's been a shocking one. It's been the hardest, but it's taught me the most. Taught me the most out of pretty much all the events in my life, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's the value of it. I'd rather view it like that than view it as just death. Because now I can look at it positively, now I can share it with people, and now I can talk about it, I can understand it more, I can resonate it, and I can turn it into something beautiful. Because if I just thought about it as death, it'd just be death. But now I'm thinking about it as a lesson, as an experience, and as something I can give to you, which I think is beautiful. Either way, my challenge for you today is just like the last one, you know, just go spend some time with your family. Just go set up something. And you know, it's Thursday as I'm recording this. I don't know when I think it's going to be published tomorrow, Friday. So just make some plans, maybe for next weekend, maybe this weekend. I know it's short notice, but you know, if you can, just make some plans with your family. Go spend some time with them. If you live with them, you know, go spend time with them. Just a little bit today. I'm not saying constantly, you know, but I just want you to, if you're still living with your mom, just go see her when she gets back from work. Or maybe your brothers and sister, you know, go see them when they get back from school. Maybe if you get back together. Go see them when you're done class. Just go spend some time with them. Because we will wish that we did. We will wish that we did do that. Go spend some time with your dog. You know, I wish that I did. But I'm not going to blame myself for the fact that I didn't. So don't do that. Just enjoy some moments while you have them. That's all I want you to do. Either way, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining. This has helped me a ton, funny enough. So I guess Jake's slogan turned back on him, huh? So, helped me a ton, and I hope it helps you a ton. Take care, my friend.